The UFC is back in Vegas for Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira. And kicking off the card is women's bantamweight Claudia Sygula versus zombie girl Priscilla Cachoeira. Sygula is coming off a win against Irina Alekseeva. Cachoeira lost 3 of her last 4 and is coming off a KO loss to Jocelyn Edwards. Sygula opened as the -120 favorite and is now the -155 favorite with a win probability of 60.8%. The win probability calculator has Sygula as the favorite at -163 with a true win probability of 61.9%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Cachoeira via KO 36% of the time, Sygula via decision 35% of the time. Sygula is the better striker. She has more volume, better defense, and better accuracy. Sygula also has a positive .57 strike differential compared to Cachoeira's horrible negative 3.12 strike differential. Cachoeira has decent takedown defense, but once she gets on the mat, she's easily submittable, suffering 4 losses via submission. Cachoeira is entertaining to watch. She's fearless, she goes forward, and she lives or dies by the sword. But unfortunately, she's lost more than she's won these past few years. She is the more experienced fighter, but Sygula has the tools to get a victory by managing Cachoeira's aggression and sticking to her game plan, which should be to secure takedowns and win the minutes via control and ground and pound, searching for the occasional submission. My pick is Claudia Sygula via decision. Next up, we have Gafurov versus Jacob Wiklacz. Gafurov is on a 2-fight win streak, and Wiklacz is coming off a split decision win against Mix for his UFC debut. Wiklacz opened as the -115 favorite, but Gafurov is now the favorite at -135 with a win probability of 55.3%. The win probability calculator has Gafurov as a favorite at -164 with a true win probability of 62.1%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Gafurov via decision 32% of the time. Wiklacz might be the better striker, but not by much. Wiklac's strike defense is poor at 36%, opening up the door for Gafurov's power shot. Both fighters like to grapple, but Wiklacz is the clear submission hunter. But Gafurov is just better wherever this fight goes. Gafurov was the massive underdog against Rinya Nakamura, another standout grappler, and outworked Nakamura to secure the decision. Wiklacz fought a chaotic back-and-forth fight against Mix, earning that split decision win for his UFC debut against an overhyped opponent. Wiklacz will also need to make this fight chaotic as well because he's not going to win a technical fight against Gafurov. Wiklacz will also have a 4.5-inch reach advantage, but that may not mean much against the 2-time World Combat Sambo champion if Wiklacz is on his back most of this fight. My pick is Gafurov via decision. Next up, we have Wang versus Eduardo Moura. Wang and Moura are both on 2-fight win streaks. Wang opened as the -265 favorite and is now the -380 favorite with a win probability of 79.2%. The win probability calculator has Wang as a favorite at -142 with a true win probability of 58.6%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Wang via decision 53% of the time. Wang dominates the fighter metrics, outlanding Moura 2-1 and almost doubles Moura's strike accuracy. Wang's 100% takedown defense will be tested by Moura's 3.73 takedown average. Something's going to have to give here, but Wang is opportunistic in the grappling exchanges, having secured 2 submission wins herself. But Moura doesn't seem to be much of a threat as she took 42-year-old Lauren Murphy to a decision. Wang's air of invincibility was shattered with a submission loss to Gabriela Fernandez, and 2 decision wins following that doesn't spark the same fear that she was once able to produce. But women's MMA being women's MMA, this fight is going to most likely go to a decision, and the judges are going to award the more aggressive fighter, which will no doubt be Wang. My pick is Wang via decision. Next up is Javid Basharat versus Said Nurmagomedov. Both fighters are on 2-fight losing streaks and desperately need a win. Basharat opened as the -148 favorite, but is now the -130 favorite with a win probability of 56.5%. The win probability calculator has Basharat as a slight favorite at -108, with a true win probability of 51.9%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Basharat via decision 48% of the time. Basharat dominates the fighter metrics, outlanding Nurmagomedov almost 2-1. He's more accurate, and he's more defensively sound, and he's also the more active grappler. But he hasn't had the success that his brother has had. But he can turn it around against a formidable opponent like Saeed Nurmagomedov, who's been struggling to find his identity in the bantamweight division. Nurmagomedov lost 3 of his last 4 fights, and 3 losses in a row could cause Nurmagomedov to be cut Monday morning. Fighting on the same card as his brother should be an inspiration, and Nurmagomedov should be able to draw out the best Basharat. So my pick is Javid Basharat via decision. Next is Bruna Brasil versus Ketlin Souza. Brasil is coming back to the UFC after going back down in weight after losing to Wang and earning her right to come back with a win over Ming Shi. Souza is on a 2-fight losing streak, although both were via split decisions. Brasil opened as the -120 favorite, but Souza is now the -148 favorite with a win probability of 59.7%. The win probability calculator has Brasil as the favorite at -134 with a true win probability of 57.3%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Souza via decision 48% of the time. Souza does have slight advantages in the fight metrics, striking more, but she also absorbs more, and she doesn't have any intentions on taking this fight to the mat. Brasil has decent takedown accuracy, takedown average, and Souza does have an exploitable 50% takedown defense. Seems like the game plan is pretty clear here. Brasil needs to grapple to secure a win over a fighter who's probably going to piece her up if this fight remains standing. Brasil is durable, but we'll see if she has improved her fight IQ with fighting nerds. Souza will obviously need to keep this fight on the feet, but I'm not sure she's going to be able to stay off the mat. So my pick is Bruna Brasil via decision. Next up is the short notice fight between Nikolai Veretennikov and Niko Price. Veretennikov is coming off a loss, and he's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. Price is coming in on 5 days' notice and a 2-fight losing streak, and he's lost 8 of his last 13 fights. And it's a wonder that this guy is still in the UFC. Veretennikov opened as the -285 favorite, and he remains the -285 favorite with a win probability of 74%. The win probability calculator has Veretennikov as a favorite at -158 with a true win probability of 61.6%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Veretennikov via KO 37% of the time. Price outlands Veretennikov, but he also absorbs more strikes, and he's less accurate, but he can also outgrapple Veretennikov. Both have negative strike differentials, but Price's chin is not as durable as Veretenikov's, and on 5 days' notice, Price's cardio is going to be virtually non-existent. Price does have a 2-inch reach advantage, and he's going to need every inch of it to land against Veretennikov. Neither fighter can afford a loss here, and I'm not expecting much from Price on 5 days' notice. My pick is Nikolai Veretennikov via KO. Next up, we have Daniil Donchenko versus UFC veteran Alex Morono. Donchenko's on a 7-fight win streak, Morono's on a 3-fight losing streak, and he's lost 5 of his last 7 fights. Donchenko opened as a -575 favorite, and he is now the -625 favorite with a win probability of 86.2%. The win probability calculator has Donchenko as a favorite at -834 with a true win probability of 89.3%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Donchenko via KO 65% of the time. Donchenko dominates all the fighter metrics, and he can dictate where this fight's going to take place. His positive 6.51 strike differential tells the story of a dominant striker with unmatched volume. Morono's been on a steep decline, and he looks to have 4 straight losses on his record come Sunday. His striking is one-dimensional and completely predictable, and his footwork is much flatter than it used to be, and his only saving grace is his BJJ black belt. Donchenko stormed onto the UFC scene with a first-round KO, and he's going to keep that train rolling again Saturday night. My pick is Daniil Donchenko via KO. Next up is Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker. Jacoby is on a 2-fight win streak after knocking out 2 light heavyweight opponents. Walker is coming off a so-so performance against Rafael Sygula. Jacoby opened as the -185 favorite, and he remains the -185 favorite with a win probability of 64.9%. The win probability calculator has Walker as the favorite at -128 with a true win probability of 56.2%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Jacoby via KO 41% of the time. Jacoby has slightly better striking metrics and a higher positive strike differential, but Walker's bread and butter is his grappling dominance. Walker should be able to exploit Jacoby's 62% takedown defense, but you can't count Jacoby out. Both Petrino and Lopez were far better grapplers than Jacoby, but Jacoby was able to neutralize that threat and impose his own game plan using his cardio as a weapon. Jacoby is the UFC veteran, and you can never count out a UFC vet on a 2-fight win streak. So my pick is Dustin Jacoby via decision. Next, we have a fun fight between Farid Basharat and Jean Matsumoto. Basharat is undefeated. Matsumoto is coming off a split decision win over Miles John. Basharat opened as the -245 favorite and is now the -285 favorite with a win probability of 74%. The win probability calculator has Basharat as the favorite at -351 with a true win probability of 77.8%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Basharat via decision 54% of the time. Basharat is the more defensively sound fighter and the more accurate striker with a positive 1.58 strike differential. Both fighters like to grapple, and Basharat's striking dominance is going to force Matsumoto to try and out-grapple Basharat. But Basharat outclasses Matsumoto in just about every area, and this should be a masterclass performance that puts Farid Basharat one step closer to breaking into the top 15 men's bantamweight rankings. Basharat has fought the higher caliber opponents as well and has won. My pick is Farid Basharat via decision. Next up, we have Michael Oleksiejczuk versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Oleksiejczuk's on a 2-fight win streak after losing 3 in a row. Barriault is on a 1-fight losing streak after having lost 4 of his last 5 fights. Oleksiejczuk opened as the -305 favorite and is now the -500 favorite with a win probability of 83.3%. The win probability calculator has Oleksiejczuk as a favorite at -275 with a true win probability of 73.3%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Oleksiejczuk via KO 70% of the time. Oleksiejczuk is clearly the better striker, and he has a higher positive strike differential. Barriault is also primarily a striker, so this fight will most likely turn out to be a brawl in which Oleksiejczuk retains the advantage. The sun is definitely setting on Barriault's career, and with a loss Saturday night, I could see him putting his gloves down in the center of the octagon. But even though Barriault might be down, you can't really just count him out. Barriault has faced the higher caliber opponents, and he is the veteran, so he might just have one more trick up his sleeve. But I doubt it. My pick is Michael Oleksiejczuk via KO. Next up, we have Jailton Almeida versus Rizvan Kuniev. Almeida is coming off a controversial loss against Alexander Volkov, where he basically laid on top of him the entire fight. Kuniev is coming off a loss to Curtis Blades. Almeida opened as the -198 favorite, but is now the -155 favorite with a win probability of 60.8%. The win probability calculator has Almeida as a favorite at -312 with a true win probability of 75.7%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Almeida via submission 31% of the time, Kuniev via KO 26% of the time. Kuniev is the more prolific striker, but Almeida's strike absorption rate is extremely low compared to his strike defense, meaning he gets hit when his opponents get to throw punches, but Almeida's grappling is so smothering his opponents rarely get opportunities to throw strikes. Almeida has a 3-inch reach advantage, but Kuniev has an impressive +2 strike differential. Kuniev also has an impressive 90% takedown defense, which will be tested by Almeida's 6.66 takedown average. Ugh, what a number. Almeida cannot be another part of another boring fight. His team should have expressed to him in no uncertain terms that he needs to get a damn finish. The UFC isn't about winning via points, and the new bonus structure is designed to encourage finishes. If Almeida didn't get the message from the Volkov fight, he might never get it. My pick is Jailton Almeida via submission. Next is the co-main event between Kyoji Horiguchi and Amir Albazi. Horiguchi is coming off a masterclass performance against Tajir Ulanbekov, extending his win streak to 4, while Albazi is coming off a loss to Brandon Morono and is on a 462-day layoff. Horiguchi opened as the -325 favorite and is now the -355 favorite with a win probability of 78%. The win probability calculator has Horiguchi as a favorite at -190 with a true win probability of 65.8%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Horiguchi via decision 53% of the time. Horiguchi is the better striker with better defense and better grappling. Horiguchi also has a +138 strike differential compared to Albazi's -0.99 strike differential, ensuring that Horiguchi is going to land at will on Albazi. Albazi does have a 3-inch reach advantage, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to capitalize on that reach. Both fighters have a proclivity to grapple, but Albazi will have to deal with ring rust against an MMA legend and technical master. Horiguchi is on a fast track to a potential title shot in 2026, and with a win over Albazi, he'll be knocking at the top 5 of the flyweight division, which is currently a hot mess. My pick is Kyoji Horiguchi via decision. Finally, we have the main event between Mario Bautista and Vinicius Oliveira, and this is a certified banger. Bautista is coming off a loss to title contender Umar Nurmagomedov after amassing an 8-fight win streak. Oliveira has put together a 6-fight win streak. Bautista opened as the -205 favorite, but is now the -170 favorite with a win probability of 63%. The win probability calculator has Oliveira as a favorite at -139 with a true win probability of 58.2%. The expected outcome on fight odds is Bautista via decision 34% of the time. Both are high-volume strikers, but Oliveira is more defensively sound and has good takedown defense at 80%. Oliveira's strike differential is also impressive at +239. Had this been a 3-round fight, I would have given the nod to Vinicius Oliveira. His crazy pressure and his pace tend to win him the second and third rounds, but at the expense of his gas tank. His defense is an overwhelming offense, but if his gas tank empties, his offense vanishes and his defense collapses. This will be both fighters' first 5-round event. And if Oliveira starts gassing in the second round like he did against Kyler Phillips, he won't be able to keep his head afloat when Bautista takes him into the deep waters. And Bautista has fought the higher level of competition. This is an important fight for Bautista as he tries to stay in the top 10 of the men's bantamweight division. He has David Martinez and Vinicius Oliveira nipping at his heels, and he can't afford to lose down rank. While Oliveira has everything to gain in this fight, it's going to come down to who has the higher fight IQ and better cardio management. My pick is Mario Bautista via decision. Thank you for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. Good luck.